What's up, everybody? Review it, Rob here, coming at you with a brand new episode. Gonna be talking about the film Smile 2, the latest horror film to release in the spooky month in theaters. Man, I can talk about that as well as some other horror sequels going on to give you some information about on this episode. But without further ado, let's go ahead and jump into it. There is your beautiful trailer for Smile 2. It is rated R for grisly images, drug use, language throughout, and strong violent content. Film runs in at 2 hours and 7 minutes. It is classified as a horror mystery thriller film. That is the trifecta of awesome. It is currently in theaters, about to embark on a new world tour. Global pop sensation Sky Riley begins experiencing increasingly terrifying events. Overwhelmed by the escalating horrors and the pressures of fame, Sky is forced to face her dark past to regain control of her life before it spirals out of control. Smile 2, man. So let's go ahead and jump into this. Spoiler free, of course, as always on the show. I liked that first Smile movie a lot. I did joke around a good bit about it being a sequel to Truth or Dare because of the whole smile effect and all that. But I did like that first Smile movie. With that said, I enjoyed the idea of, because the first movie dealt with like hospital war and psychiatry and all that stuff, which is cool. I like psychiatry. But now we're going to this world of a pop star and a pop sensation dealing with this curse that we know of with the Smile franchise, which was something I was worried about with the sequel. Because in the first movie, the majority of the film, we don't know what's going on, right? The smile curse. Why is this happening to people? Is it real? Is it a psychiatric break? Is it all in the head? What's going on? Is this really happening? Until eventually they explain the things in the movie. So I was worried going into this film, like, okay, maybe that mystery aspect is going to be gone, a little bit of that thriller aspect will be gone because we know what's happening here and all that. So happy to say it does still deliver on the mystery and thriller aspects throughout the film and adds in that new fresh take of a pop star going through it, played by the fantastic Naomi Scott, who I first, was introduced to with the Power Rangers movie, 2017 film where she played Kimberly Hart, the Pink Power Ranger. And I thought she was great there. And then, of course, she played Princess Jasmine in the live action Aladdin film. Know her, as an actress. She's been doing good stuff. Charlie's Angels as well, slept on movie. So I've known of her and become a fan of her, of course, because Power Rangers and all that. And come to find out, learned that she was a singer because I'm a fan of Bridget Mendler, and Bridget Mendler, Lemonade Mouth. They were both in the movie Lemonade Mouth, DCOM, Disney Channel original movie, and they're both singers. So having her in here, good actress, good singer, cool. I can trust her to deliver in that film for what they need to do. So following along with this character now and how the curse gets there and all the stuff you kind of see in the trailer, um, to how it gets to her, because if you remember how the curse works, the person gets affected with it and that they kill themselves in front of another person. The curse moves on to that person that just saw the action that happened there. So it all gets worked out here. So the thriller aspect of the film works still very well, and the mystery aspect works very well. So it does still keep that edge, which is good for a sequel to go on. Another thing that's good for a sequel to go on is that I love it when I mentioned this with the Terrifier films, that I love it when a film picks up from the events of the last movie. So Smile 2 follows exactly close enough a couple days after the events of the first movie. So I'm like, cool, perfect. Glad you did that. That's awesome. Love that you went that route. So appreciate that aspect. And the story's good for the film. The story makes sense. It's not overly pushing itself. It's not overly working itself to be something that's not. It all works very well to make the pop star journey work, because the pop star has had her own history and her own problems and things that she's had to go through, just like in the first film. Our main person in the first film, had their problems in the past that they were dealing with, and she has this as well. Now she was in an accident, and she's dealing with that while trying to regain her pop star career. And of course, this curse now finds her in the Smile curse. So it makes sense. It works very well. Again, talking around myself, not to spoil anything, but I liked it. I had a good time with it. I enjoyed the movie a lot. I saw 3 films in theaters this week, man. Loved it. Loved the being in theaters. And I will have reviews out for all of them: Smile 2, Your Monster, and then Venom Last Dance or whatever. So Venom 3. So I'll have reviews for those other 2 eventually. But Smile, it carries on perfectly well from the first movie. The horror aspect is very well done. Gory details like the first movie. Remember some disturbing images in that first movie? They do it here as well. The music in it is very good as well. Been hooked on that song And the album, there's an EP that was released, the Sky Riley album. So good. Again, Naomi Scott is fantastic. Like, I'm glad I was introduced to her from the Power Rangers because she is such a good actress. Like, she conveys everything that you need to, from the pop star, right, to the just regular person, to the traumatized person, to the scared person, to the overall trying to figure out what's going on, and delivering on every single aspect of those emotions and putting it all out there. Like, horror gets pushed away when it gets to award season and all this stuff for some reason, even though horror's been like there always for movies. It's horror's the groundbreaking. It's the start of films. Um, it always gets shunned aside. Like, it's treated terribly, kind of like metal music is with the world, or professional wrestling or anything like that. It just gets pushed aside and treated because it's different. Um, but yeah, she's given an absolutely incredible performance, so it's worth seeing that alone. Again, the music's really good. The other thing I appreciate about the film, there is some visual effects in it, of course, but they did do some real stuff on here, and they made a creature in this movie that, and if you remember the other Smile movie, they had a creature in that one as well. Um, Looking at the quote here, this is the biggest creature they have ever done practically since the Alien Queen. It's really big. It requires multiple performers inside of it, and there are a ton of puppeteers around it. I freaking love that, man. I love when we use practical effects still in horror, because practical effects in horror, again, as much as horror has been a part of history, practical effects in horror are great, great connection, and done so well. Looks so freaking cool. Looks scary. Like, they nailed it with everything they were going for in that process and everything. So overall, man, Smile 2 was a delivery of something that very well. It's been a pretty good horror year overall for horror films. And like I said, those movies ran. Terrifier and Smile 2 ran number one back to back. So that was cool, especially in horror month, if you will, with Halloween happening this week, and happy Halloween week as well. Like, I liked it, man. I liked what they did. I'm glad they did that. There is no credit scenes to the film, but is there a possibility for a third film? Absolutely. They leave that open to a possibility of there being another film in the series. They want to do it, and again, this movie was successful, so they may end up doing it at some point in time. But yeah, man, I'm glad it worked out, because again, I was a little worried. I'm like, okay, now that we know what's going on, will it work in the thriller, scary aspect? And they do. They have some very solid jump scares in this movie, more so than the other movie. The movie did have some solid jump scares in that one as well, but there's more. It's amped up. Like, they're doing stuff you see in video games in this movie, and not saying like visual effect wise, but like scare wise, and like some of these horror video games are doing stuff like that in here. Again, talking around myself not to spoil it, but they do some incredibly cool things with the horror aspects in the movie. And again, Naomi Scott is just killing it. Um, Jack Nicholson's son's in this movie for a little bit as well. He freaking looks so much like Jack Nicholson. Like, there's a poster, you can go to like Regal Theaters where I see movies. There's like this huge stand-up poster, and you see him doing the smile. Like, yep, that's Jack Nicholson's son for sure. So yeah, like, I can't complain about everybody. Everybody in the movie was good. The story works very well. The music's awesome. Been bumping that freaking songs ever since seeing that movie, and I'm excited about it, man. So overall, for me, Smile 2 is a big success for the year in horror, against to have another successful film. So yes, go see it. Go see it in theaters right now. That is worth your time to go see, other than some other movie. But we'll get to that later. But Smile 2 is worth your time for sure, man. So go check that out. Now, I did mention news wise, we got some horror film stuff to talk about with sequels. It's all very much sequel news since the last time we talked here. So the biggest one, the filming has begun for The Conjuring: The Last Rites. That is going to be the last Conjuring film um, that they end up doing, which is sad. I do love those Conjuring films a lot. I think they've been fantastic. And, to see that end would suck. Now, again, it's the last Conjuring film. I'm sure they'll still do like separate stories. I'm sure at some point we'll see another Annabelle movie or another Nun movie or something to come out of that realm of the Warrens artifact room and all that stuff. Like, I'm sure there'll be something that happens there at some point in time, but this is supposed to be the last Conjuring film that I guess will follow the Warrens on an adventure, which is, again, sad. Don't want to see it end, but I kind of get it, I guess. You want to move on to something else. I don't know. It kind of just seems like we've been doing all these other things. Like, we got The Conjuring, and then we'll do an Annabelle movie, and then we'll do a Nun movie, and then We'll do La Llorona, even though you want to act like it's not. And we'll do Conjuring 2, and then we'll do another Annabelle movie and another Nun movie, and then we'll come back and do another Conjuring movie. And kind of been doing that for a while, so just have to wait, I guess, and see where they end up going with all of it. But I've enjoyed those movies. I like it a lot. I can't wait to see what they end up giving us on this last rites as they put out there. Other news: Five Nights at Freddy's has officially been announced. Sequel 2, we already know that was coming, and they have given us a release date for theaters of December 5th, 2025. So December of next year, we'll be getting. December, that's interesting. So skipping the holiday season, the Halloween holiday season, and going to the Christmas season with the sequel. I'm okay with the first Five Nights at Freddy's film. I think it could have been a little bit better. Um, I like the pizzeria stuff, the Freddy Fazbear's Pizzeria stuff. Could have done without the other backstories and all that stuff, but it is what it is. You got to make a movie. Um, so we'll see what the sequel brings. Hopefully, the sequel brings us more of the scary and less of the meh, you know. But not against it. Happy for him. Make another film. Oh, excuse me. And then lastly, here, the Predator and Alien franchises are doing very well. Like, I remember that there was a point in time where people were very upset that Disney now owned the Predator franchise and the Alien franchise. Like, oh, they're not going to do anything with it. This sucks. They don't know how to do horror and all that stuff. And then since that time, we got the film Prey, which wasn't released in theaters, unfortunately, but was released on Hulu. Right? Fantastic film. Everybody loves it. Very well done. Um, and they've since announced a sequel, or not a sequel, but more Predator films are coming. Predator Badlands will star the fantastic Elle Fanning, and they've announced another Predator film that'll be coming out both next year. Two Predator films coming out next year, and then Alien, released Alien, Romulus earlier this year. One of the best films of the year, fantastically done, scary as all get out, and they've announced a sequel is in the works for that. So trust the mouse, I guess, unless it's one of these horror movies that have the mouse in it, because those have not been good. We'll see how Screamboat does. But I watched that. I watched that other one, the Mousetrap one. Not for me, not for me. But overall, man, good on them. They're making it work. Like, I think Disney can have these divisions that can do these things, and obviously show that it's worked. So two Predator films coming out next year. Hopefully, they're not jumping too much into it and messing things up there. But they do get the same person who did Prey working on the one with Elle Fanning, so that should be good. And then Alien Romulus, they're trying to get the same person who did Alien Romulus back to this one, Feedy. So we'll see how it all rolls out and happens with the aliens and all that, man. But I've had a good time with those alien, both that Prey movie and Alien Romulus, and I'm excited to see where it ends up going future wise here. But you guys can do it, man. That is it. That is a quick episode. Not a lot of stuff. Talked a lot of the DC stuff on last week's episode. Nothing new really to talk about this week on DC, um, or anything else really going on to talk about. So there you go. That's the horror news to talk about this week. Hope you have a fun time with Halloween. It's Halloween week. Watch your horror movies. If you got some kiddos, go trick or treating with them. Um, just have a good time. Enjoy the week. It's spooky week, man. It's good, fun, spooky time to be had all around. So go have some fun. Be safe, as always, and just have a good time. Dress up in whatever costume you want to dress up in. Is freaking do what you need to do to have fun. Um, and not just Halloween, but life in general, man. Trust yourself, process, have fun, and believe in yourself, and everything will be fine. Don't let things hinder you down or by any things like that. Maybe your football team lost this week. Whatever. It is what it is. We can't control video games. We can't control games. We can't control stuff. We can't like that. But we can keep going, man, and we keep having a good time. Sucks when your team lose. Look, I'm a Texans fan. They lose a lot. I've been through a lot of losing with them, but hey, this year we're doing pretty good. But I'm just saying, stuff happens, and you can get through it, and you can have a good time. Just enjoy what you need to enjoy. Go to the movies. Go check out Smile 2. Man, spooky season. You're looking for horror films to check out. Smile 2 is one worth your time to check out in the theaters because, again, so well done, so well put together. The scares, fantastic. The blood, good stuff. The horrific visuals are there. They're awesome. Puppeteering, working a big creature. It's got it all. It's got it all. And on top of that, you got Naomi Scott killing it with her performance, both as a singer and, of course, as an actress. So, yes, Smile 2, worth your time. Go check it out. And worth your time is you, man. Take care of yourself. Believe in yourself. Trust yourself because you are amazing. Inside you. Hey, look at me. Look at me. A little dark. Like the freaking Zack Snyder's version of the Review at Rob shows, the Snyder cut. Dark in there. But with that said, trust yourself. Don't let the darkness take over, man. Trust yourself. Become out of the darkness. Embrace the darkness, like freaking Batman and Bane. Maybe more the heroic side, but trust yourself. Believe in yourself. Embrace yourself. Build yourself up because you, inside of you, man, is incredible stuff. So trust yourself. Believe in yourself. You've got it. You are amazing. And as always, remember that happiness can be found even in the darkest of times if one only remembers to turn on the light. Talk to you all next episode.